Tucker Carlson has mastered the most profitable grift in American politics, convincing working-class Americans that a bow-tie-wearing, private school-educated, frozen dinner heir understands their struggles. It's a performance so audacious, so perfectly crafted, that it makes you wonder if Tucker himself believes his own act. This isn't just another political hit piece. This is a philosophical dissection of how authentic populism gets hijacked by the very elites it claims to oppose. Tucker Carlson isn't just a fake populist, he's the perfect case study of how aristocratic resentment masquerades as championing the common man. He represents everything wrong with American political discourse: the commodification of anger, the weaponization of class anxiety, and the transformation of legitimate grievances into profitable entertainment. To understand Tucker's con, we need to understand the man behind the carefully constructed persona. We need to examine how someone born into extraordinary privilege learned to profit from the rage of those who never had such advantages. Most importantly, we need to recognize that Tucker's success reveals something deeply disturbing about American politics. Authentic populism has become so rare that millions of people will accept a fake version as long as it tells them what they want to hear. Let's start with the facts that Tucker's carefully crafted persona tries to hide, because understanding his background isn't just biographical curiosity, it's essential to grasping the magnitude of his deception. Tucker Swanson McNear Carlson was born not into the middle class he claims to represent, but into the American aristocracy. His stepmother was Patricia Caroline Swanson, heir to the Swanson frozen dinner fortune. This isn't distant wealth or nouveau riche success. This is generational American aristocracy, the kind of family that shaped American consumer culture for decades. The irony is delicious. The man who now rails against corporate food systems and processed culture was literally raised on frozen dinner money. But the Swanson connection is just the beginning. Tucker's father, Dick Carlson, wasn't some regular dad working a regular job. He was a journalist who became director of Voice of America under Reagan, then moved on to head the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Dick Carlson was a card-carrying member of the Washington establishment, moving seamlessly between government and media. Tucker didn't just inherit money, he inherited connections, access, and most importantly, the assumption that he belonged in elite circles. The educational trajectory tells the rest of the story. St. George's School in Rhode Island, where annual tuition now exceeds $67,000, was Tucker's formative environment. This isn't just expensive private school, this is American aristocracy boot camp, where the children of senators, CEOs, and old money families learn to see themselves as natural leaders. The school's alumni include numerous senators, governors, and titans of industry. Tucker wasn't just getting an education, he was being initiated into a class that sees itself as destined to rule. From St. George's, Tucker proceeded to Trinity College, another elite institution where he could network with future power brokers while majoring in history with a focus on medieval studies. Even his academic choices reflected aristocratic sensibilities. While middle-class students worried about job prospects, Tucker could afford to study whatever interested him, secure in the knowledge that his family connections would open doors regardless of his grades. The bow tie era represents perhaps the most honest period of Tucker's public life. For decades, he wore bow ties as his signature look, a deliberately aristocratic affectation that screamed, "I'm not like you common people." The bow tie wasn't just a fashion choice, it was a class marker, a way of signaling membership in a rarefied world where such affectations were appreciated. Tucker wasn't hiding his elite status, he was flaunting it. His early career reflected this comfort with elite circles. CNN, MSNBS, PBS, The Weekly Standard, Tucker didn't fight the establishment media, he was bred by it. He moved effortlessly through elite media institutions, always landing softly thanks to family connections and prep school networking. His outsider status is entirely manufactured, a recent invention designed to capitalize on anti-establishment sentiment. Around 2016, something remarkable happened. Tucker discovered that raging against elites was profitable, even if you were one. The transformation was as calculated as it was complete, representing one of the most successful political reinventions in recent memory. The wardrobe shift was the most visible change. Out went the bow ties and prep school aesthetic that had defined Tucker's image for decades. In came the everyman look, though still expensive, now carefully designed to appear accessible. Tucker's stylist deserves credit for this transformation. The bow tie had been his signature for so long that its disappearance was jarring to longtime viewers. But focus groups had probably told Fox News that bow ties tested poorly with working-class audiences, so Tucker's aristocratic affectation had to go. Even his body language changed, adopting a more aggressive, less patrician style. The old Tucker had a certain languid quality, the relaxed confidence of someone who never doubted his place in the world. The new Tucker appeared more urgent, more confrontational. He learned to lean forward, to furrow his brow, to project the kind of intensity that suggested he was fighting for something important. It was method acting on a massive scale. The accent adjustment was subtler but no less significant. Listen to Tucker from 2003 versus 2020, and you'll hear the difference. The lockjaw prep school accent softened into something more generically American. It's the same voice coaching politicians used to sound more relatable, the same techniques that taught Hillary Clinton to drop her affected Southern accent and helped Obama modulate his professorial tone. Tucker's new accent suggested he was one of us, not one of them. The issue selection represented the most cynical aspect of his transformation. Suddenly, the guy who spent decades in elite media circles discovered immigration, trade deals, and corporate power were problems. Not coincidentally, these were the issues Trump rode to victory. Tucker didn't develop these concerns through personal experience or deep study, he adopted them because they were market-tested and profitable. His anti-immigration stance is particularly revealing. Tucker had never shown any interest in immigration policy during his decades in elite media. He'd never lived in communities affected by immigration, never worked jobs that competed with immigrant labor, never experienced any of the pressures that might authentically lead someone to this position. But anti-immigration sentiment was popular with the audience Fox News wanted to capture, so Tucker became an anti-immigration warrior overnight. The same pattern applies to his sudden concern for working-class economic anxiety. Tucker had never worked a working-class job, never lived paycheck to paycheck, never faced the kind of economic uncertainty that defines working-class life. But economic populism was trending, so Tucker became an economic populist. The speed and completeness of his transformation suggests it was entirely strategic, not authentic. Tucker's populism isn't just strategically convenient, it's philosophically incoherent. He's created a worldview that allows him to be both insider and outsider, elite and everyman, simultaneously benefiting from the system while claiming to oppose it. The foundation of Tucker's fake populism is what we might call acceptable elitism. Tucker has positioned himself as the good elite, the one who sees through the system and speaks truth to power. This is classic aristocratic paternalism. I'm not like those other rich people, I actually care about you. It's the same logic that allowed 19th century aristocrats to support limited reforms while maintaining their fundamental privileges. This creates a convenient moral framework where Tucker can live an elite lifestyle while claiming to represent working-class interests. He can send his children to expensive private schools while criticizing elite education. He can live in wealthy enclaves while championing rural America. He can maintain his media establishment connections while positioning himself as an outsider. The cognitive dissonance is resolved by claiming he's using his privilege for good, that he's the exception that proves the rule. The cultural elite versus economic elite distinction is central to Tucker's con. He's trained his audience to hate Hollywood celebrities, university professors, and liberal journalists while ignoring the vastly more powerful economic elites who actually control American society. This is brilliant misdirection. Get working-class people angry at cultural figures who have relatively little power while ignoring the capitalist class that actually shapes their economic reality. Tucker can rail against elites while never mentioning that his own family wealth comes from exactly the kind of corporate capitalism he occasionally criticizes. He can attack globalism while benefiting from the same international economic system. He can denounce the establishment while being a product of that establishment. The trick is making sure his audience's anger is directed at the right targets, never at him or his class. The immigration focus serves this misdirection perfectly. By convincing working-class Americans that their problems stem from immigration rather than capitalist exploitation, Tucker deflects attention from the economic system that actually created their struggles. Mexican immigrants didn't ship American jobs overseas, American capitalists did. But criticizing capitalism might threaten Tucker's own position, while criticizing immigration costs him nothing. This is why Tucker's populism always feels hollow, why it never proposes systemic solutions to the problems it identifies. Real populism would challenge the concentration of wealth and power that created current conditions. Tucker's version channels popular anger into safe directions that don't threaten existing hierarchies. It's populism as pressure release valve, not populism as genuine reform movement. Tucker's true genius lies in understanding how to monetize working-class resentment without actually addressing its underlying causes. He's created a business model based on keeping his audience angry enough to keep watching but never angry enough to demand real change. The key insight is that authentic populism is threatening to elites, but fake populism is profitable. Real populist movements historically challenged concentrated wealth and power, demanding redistribution and structural reform. Tucker's version channels that same energy into culture war battles that don't threaten economic hierarchies. His audience gets the emotional satisfaction of rebellion without the actual consequences of revolution. This creates a sustainable business model. If Tucker actually solved the problems he identifies, his audience would no longer need him. But by focusing on unsolvable culture war issues, he ensures perpetual demand for his services. Immigration, cultural decline, liberal bias, these are permanent grievances that can fuel endless hours of programming without ever requiring resolution. The emotional manipulation is sophisticated. Tucker has mastered the art of making his audience feel simultaneously victimized and empowered. They're victims of elite manipulation, but they're also part of a righteous resistance movement. They're under attack, but they're also winning. This psychological framework keeps viewers engaged while preventing them from examining their actual material conditions. Tucker's laugh is crucial to this dynamic. It's not the laugh of someone enjoying a joke, it's the laugh of someone who can't believe how easy this all is. He's laughing at the absurdity of his situation, a trust fund kid being treated as a working-class hero, an elite being celebrated as an outsider, a product of the system being praised for opposing it. The laugh reveals the con, but his audience mistakes it for shared amusement at liberal hypocrisy. The financial rewards of this model are staggering. Tucker's Fox News contract was reportedly worth $20 million annually, making him one of the highest-paid figures in television. His post-Fox ventures have only expanded his earning potential. He's monetized working-class anger to achieve a level of wealth that places him firmly in the 0.1% he occasionally criticizes. The populist pose has made him richer than most of the elites he claims to oppose. Tucker's success isn't accidental. It's the result of sophisticated techniques designed to obscure his true nature while building audience loyalty. Understanding these methods reveals how easily authentic political movements can be hijacked by skilled manipulators. The selective outrage technique is fundamental to Tucker's approach. He expresses passionate anger about issues that resonate with his audience while remaining curiously calm about problems that might implicate his own class. He'll spend entire segments fuming about transgender athletes or diversity training while barely mentioning wage stagnation or corporate tax avoidance. This selective emotional investment trains his audience to focus on the issues he wants them to care about. The just asking questions rhetorical strategy allows Tucker to promote conspiracy theories while maintaining plausible deniability. He doesn't directly claim that vaccines are dangerous or that elections are stolen. He just asks innocent questions that lead his audience to those conclusions. This technique lets him spread misinformation while avoiding responsibility for its consequences. The false intimacy created through direct address makes viewers feel like Tucker is speaking personally to them. He looks directly into the camera, uses inclusive language like we and us, and speaks in conversational tones that suggest friendship rather than broadcast performance. This parasocial relationship makes criticism of Tucker feel like personal betrayal to his audience. The strategic vulnerability moments are particularly effective. Occasionally, Tucker will admit to being wrong about something minor, or express doubt about a peripheral issue. These moments of apparent honesty make him seem more trustworthy when he's actually being deceptive about larger matters. It's a classic con artist technique: establish credibility on small matters to maintain deception on large ones. The enemy rotation keeps his audience engaged by constantly providing new targets for their anger. When one culture war issue begins to lose steam, Tucker pivots to another. The rotating cast of villains, immigrants, professors, celebrities, politicians, ensures that his audience never runs out of people to hate. This constant stimulation prevents them from focusing on systemic issues that might threaten Tucker's position. The class camouflage is perhaps most sophisticated. Tucker has learned to adopt working-class linguistic patterns, cultural references, and concerns while maintaining his elite lifestyle. He'll reference NASCAR, country music, and blue-collar experiences he's never had while living in a world of private schools and vacation homes. This cultural mimicry makes him seem more authentic while obscuring his actual background. Understanding Tucker's audience is crucial to grasping why his con works so effectively. These aren't stupid people, they're people whose legitimate grievances have been ignored by the political establishment, making them vulnerable to someone who claims to understand their struggles. The core audience consists of working-class and middle-class Americans who have experienced real economic decline over the past several decades. Their wages have stagnated, their job security has disappeared, and their communities have been hollowed out by economic changes they didn't choose and don't understand. These are genuine problems that deserve serious attention. The tragedy is that Tucker offers them a fake solution to real problems. Instead of addressing the economic policies that created their struggles, he gives them cultural enemies to blame. Instead of challenging the power structures that marginalize them, he channels their anger into safe directions. Instead of building a movement that might actually improve their lives, he provides entertainment that makes them feel better temporarily. The geographical divide is significant. Tucker's audience is concentrated in areas that have been economically devastated by globalization, automation, and the decline of manufacturing. These communities have been ignored by coastal elites who benefit from the same economic changes that harmed them. Tucker's appeal stems partly from his apparent recognition of their plight, even though his solutions are counterproductive. The generational component is also important. Many of Tucker's viewers are older Americans who remember when working-class jobs provided middle-class lifestyles, when communities were more stable, and when the future seemed more predictable. Their nostalgia for this period makes them receptive to messages about cultural decline and lost greatness. The educational divide reveals another dimension of Tucker's appeal. His audience tends to be less formally educated, which makes them more susceptible to his anti-intellectual messaging. When Tucker mocks professors or experts, he's providing emotional satisfaction to people who've been made to feel inferior by educational credentialism. This is a legitimate grievance that Tucker exploits for his own benefit. The media consumption patterns of his audience also matter. Many of Tucker's viewers get their information primarily from conservative media sources, creating an information bubble that reinforces his messaging. They're not exposed to alternative perspectives that might reveal the contradictions in his positions. This isolation makes them more dependent on Tucker's interpretation of events. The consequences of Tucker's fake populism extend far beyond his television ratings. By hijacking legitimate populist sentiment and redirecting it toward profitable but counterproductive ends, he's caused real harm to American democratic discourse and working-class political power. The most obvious damage is the misdirection of working-class anger. Instead of focusing on the economic policies that created their struggles, deregulation, tax cuts for the wealthy, trade policies that benefited capital over labor, Tucker's audience focuses on cultural issues that don't address their material conditions. This misdirection prevents the formation of authentic working-class political movements that might actually improve their lives. The tribal polarization fostered by Tucker's programming makes democratic compromise increasingly difficult. By presenting every political issue as a zero-sum battle between good and evil, Tucker contributes to the breakdown of democratic norms and institutions. His audience becomes increasingly unwilling to accept electoral defeats or legislative compromises because they've been convinced that their opponents are existential enemies. The epistemic closure created by Tucker's misinformation campaigns has broader consequences for democratic governance. When significant portions of the population believe false information about elections, vaccines, or climate change, it becomes impossible to address real problems with evidence-based solutions. Tucker's "just asking questions" approach to conspiracy theories has contributed to this epistemic crisis. The opportunity cost is enormous. The energy and passion of Tucker's audience could have been channeled into productive political movements that addressed their actual concerns. Instead, it's been wasted on culture war battles that benefit only media figures and political consultants. The working-class political power that might have emerged from authentic populism has been squandered on theatrical performances. The elite capture of populist sentiment represents a broader problem in American politics. When legitimate grievances are hijacked by the very elites they're directed against, the possibility of genuine reform is reduced. Tucker's success demonstrates how easily authentic political movements can be co-opted by skilled manipulators with resources and platforms. The international implications are also significant. Tucker's programming has influenced political movements beyond America, spreading his brand of fake populism to other countries. His techniques for monetizing resentment while avoiding systemic change have been copied by political entrepreneurs worldwide, contributing to the global crisis of democratic governance. Understanding why Tucker's performance is so effective requires examining the psychological mechanisms that make elite cosplay convincing to working-class audiences. The success of his con reveals uncomfortable truths about human psychology and political communication. The authority transfer phenomenon is central to Tucker's appeal. His audience recognizes his elite credentials, the education, the connections, the platform, and this recognition actually enhances his credibility when he claims to oppose elites. The logic is, if someone with his background is willing to speak truth to power, he must be telling the truth. His elite status becomes evidence of his authenticity rather than reason for suspicion. The parasocial relationship created through television allows Tucker to substitute emotional connection for actual shared experience. His audience feels like they know him personally, which makes them more willing to trust his interpretations of events. This false intimacy obscures the vast differences in their actual life experiences and economic circumstances. The cognitive dissonance resolution offered by Tucker's worldview is psychologically appealing. His audience can maintain their respect for wealth and success while explaining their own struggles through external enemies. Instead of questioning the system that created their problems, they can blame immigrants, liberals, or cultural elites. This explanation preserves their self-esteem while avoiding the difficult work of systemic change. The vicarious rebellion provided by Tucker's programming gives his audience the emotional satisfaction of resistance without the risks of actual political action. They can feel like they're part of a movement while remaining passive consumers of media content. This substitution of spectatorship for participation reduces the likelihood of genuine political mobilization. The class anxiety management function of Tucker's messaging is particularly sophisticated. His audience experiences downward mobility and status anxiety, but Tucker provides explanations that don't threaten their fundamental beliefs about American society. Instead of confronting the possibility that the system is rigged against them, they can believe that it's been corrupted by outsiders who can be defeated. The cultural capital compensation offered by Tucker's anti-intellectualism helps his audience deal with educational and cultural inferiority complexes. When Tucker mocks professors or experts, he's providing emotional payback for every time his audience has been made to feel stupid or ignorant. This emotional satisfaction creates loyalty that transcends political agreement. Tucker's success isn't unique. It's part of a broader pattern of elite capture of populist movements throughout American history. Understanding this pattern reveals why authentic populism is so rare and why fake versions are so common. The historical precedents are numerous. In the 1930s, wealthy industrialists funded populist-sounding movements that opposed the New Deal while protecting their own interests. In the 1960s, elite conservatives learned to use populist rhetoric to oppose civil rights while maintaining economic hierarchies. In the 1980s, wealthy backers funded the Christian right as a populist movement that supported policies benefiting the wealthy. The common thread is that authentic populism threatens concentrated wealth and power, while fake populism can be used to protect them. Real populist movements historically demanded redistribution, regulation, and democratic reform. Fake populist movements channel similar energy into directions that don't threaten existing hierarchies. The media dimension is crucial to this pattern. Elite-owned media companies have obvious incentives to promote fake populism over authentic versions. Tucker's employers at Fox News are part of the same elite class he claims to oppose, but they're happy to profit from his anti-elite messaging as long as it doesn't threaten their actual interests. The funding mechanisms reveal the broader pattern. Authentic populist movements typically rely on small donations from working-class supporters, while fake populist movements often receive backing from wealthy donors who benefit from their misdirection. The financial incentives ensure that fake populism receives better funding and more professional organization than authentic versions. The electoral implications are significant. Politicians who adopt fake populist rhetoric can appeal to working-class voters while maintaining support from elite donors. This creates a sustainable political coalition that serves elite interests while providing psychological satisfaction to working-class voters. The international dimension of this pattern is increasingly important. Elite capture of populist movements has become a global phenomenon, with similar techniques being used across different countries and political systems. The success of Tucker's approach has inspired imitators worldwide, contributing to the global crisis of democratic governance. Tucker Carlson's transformation from bow-tie-wearing elite to working-class hero represents more than just successful personal branding. It's a case study in how authentic political movements get hijacked by the very forces they're meant to oppose. His success reveals the tragic ease with which legitimate grievances can be monetized and misdirected by skilled manipulators with resources and platforms. The ultimate tragedy isn't that Tucker is a fake populist, it's that his success has made authentic populism less likely. By providing a substitute for genuine working-class political movements, he's reduced the pressure for real reform while channeling popular anger into profitable but counterproductive directions. His audience gets the emotional satisfaction of rebellion without the actual benefits of political change. The broader implications extend beyond American politics. Tucker's techniques for monetizing resentment while avoiding systemic change have been copied by political entrepreneurs worldwide, contributing to the global crisis of democratic governance. His success demonstrates how easily authentic political movements can be co-opted by skilled manipulators with elite resources. The most damning evidence of Tucker's inauthenticity isn't his background or his wealth, it's his solutions. Real populists propose systemic changes that would redistribute power and wealth. Tucker's populism offers only cultural battles that don't threaten existing hierarchies. His version of populism is designed to be safely ineffective, channeling working-class anger into directions that benefit media figures and political consultants rather than working-class Americans. The question isn't whether Tucker believes his own performance, it's whether his audience will eventually recognize the con. As long as their material conditions continue to deteriorate while his solutions fail to address their actual problems, the possibility remains that they'll eventually demand authentic leadership rather than elite cosplay. Until then, Tucker Carlson will continue to profit from the very inequality he claims to oppose, selling working-class Americans the illusion of rebellion while ensuring that the system that created their struggles remains unchanged. It's the perfect con: get people to pay for their own misdirection while feeling good about it. The bow tie is gone, but the aristocrat remains, now better disguised and more profitable than ever.